We are officially back and we are continuing Greatness Week. And how's everybody doing, by the way? Shawn White coming to you once again here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm just so happy and honored to be titled this whole entire segment for this week, Greatness Week, which will feature as far as my Powerful on Purpose alumni colleagues and fellow speakers, in which you will see this up and coming August 26th at the Powerful on Purpose Summit live in Columbia, South Carolina. And I tell you, it's going to be an amazing event. It is hosted by Dr. Tabitha Russell. She is our teacher. And I tell you guys, you don't want to miss this. And there's still time as well to go ahead and purchase your tickets. And based upon what I see, you better act fast because believe me, they will be selling out very, very quickly. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again here to Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. And you're in store for an amazing treat because Tashana Burrell, as I mentioned, she's one of my fellow colleagues. And I tell you, a story. It's going to be so powerful, so amazing. So I just encourage you that if you catch us on the live right now, as of right now, put in hashtag live. Let us know exactly where you're tuning in from. And if you should happen to catch this on a replay, put in hashtag replay and go ahead and do the same thing. I want to thank as far as for Mrs. Marquette L. Walker for yesterday for really setting it off and just showing through the power of releasing your shame on what it can do for you. And she dropped some tremendous knowledge and nuggets. And I tell you, the audience were in fact inspired. I'm pretty sure even right now, you still got people that's still commenting based upon that interview last night. So she set the bar very high, and tonight is going to be no exception. So let me see here as far as if the star of the show, if she is here. I'm not quite too sure as far as if she's in the listening audience right now. Hopefully that she is. So then we can go ahead and get this rolling. And while you guys are in the listening audience, do me a favor, if you will. Go ahead and tag your teams. Definitely go ahead and share this out. Please like and share because I believe someone can definitely be inspired by this. And this is going to be truly, truly amazing. Truly amazing. Just having to sip here on some juice here. We're going to go ahead and get rocking and rolling in a few seconds. So I'm just looking to see here as far as if she's on. Tashana, if you're in the listening audience, if you could just comment and just say hello. For anybody else that's just tuning in, once again, guys, this is Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. And you're tuning in for a treat because my special guest tonight, Tashana Burrell, she is definitely going to come on here and tell you more about her story, tell you more about her brand and her ministry. And I've heard her story, a few times, by being in class, and it's absolutely powerful and inspirational. And I know for a fact that you guys are in for a treat. So do me a favor, while you're listening and while we're getting her on board, please make sure that if there's anything that resonates with you, or even if you have questions, please feel free to ask questions because that's very, very important. One of the things I learned is that when I would go to different conferences and watch live streams, and if there was anything that resonated with me, one of the things which I learned from one of my first mentors is that you always ask questions. Always ask questions. It's very, very important because it lets the person know on who's really serious and who's actually paying attention. So that's something that's very important. Tashana, okay, I got you. It says here that you are here. So give me a second here. I'm going to try to go ahead and add you on as of right now. And give me a second. Sometimes, too, with Facebook, which is very interesting, sometimes it may take a moment as far as to really catch you or recognize you. I don't know why, but sometimes it takes about a couple moments. It may be with the algorithms as well, but Tashana will definitely get you up and going in a second. and also make sure that you got everything straight as well. So for everybody, once again, welcome aboard here. We have here LaFabia in the house. Welcome, welcome. Definitely glad for you to be joining us. And we will get rocking and rolling in just a second with our special guest here, Mr. Shawn Burrell. And we will go ahead and I'm telling you guys, this is going to be well worth it. I just recommend for you to go ahead and share this out as of right now, as my guest is getting ready. And definitely tag your teams, tag anyone that you feel can actually benefit from someone that has overcame so many odds and yet is here to live about it and is ready to share their story in such a profound way to inspire, educate, empower so many women and men as well, then you definitely want to tune in. So, Tashana, I'm going to go ahead and add you on here. We have here Miss, which, by the way, actually one of the past guests, and I mean, like, she brought the house down. I was like, wow. I was just sitting there in awe, and you guys is gonna feel that same way once that Tashana comes on board, because I'm telling you, this is gonna be amazing. We have Carrie here in the house. Great evening, great evening, Carrie. Where exactly are you watching this from? I'm just curious. Where exactly are you watching this from? And Pele, if you can just let us know where you're watching this from as well. And we would love, as far as to have your guys' input as well. So we're giving it about a second or two. We have here Ms. D. Russell in the house. Also, by the way, shout outs to D as well, giving out tremendous value. Yes, I did. I actually did. So you should be seeing that on your phone. Let's see here. Let me see here. Give me 1 second here, Tashana. You don't see the invite? Let me go ahead and try again. Let me try again. Let me exit that out. Give me 1 second here. All right. Okay, Tashana, so it's coming to you as of right now. So you should be getting that. Also, too, Tashana, one of the things I forgot to mention, it also depends, too, on how the way you got your phone. So if you got your phone in portrait mode, you're not going to get the invite, because I have mine's landscape mode. So you probably will have to tilt your camera the same way that I have mine, which is in landscape mode, in order for you to see the notification. That's another thing which I forgot to mention. We have here Columbia, South Carolina in the house. Welcome, welcome. We have here Michigan in the building. Let me see here. Muskegon? That sounds very familiar. Is that in the Detroit area? I wonder. Muskegon. Sounds very familiar. I wonder how close would that be as far as in the Detroit, Lansing area. I wonder. Okay, Tashana, nothing. Yep, nothing. All right, so we're going to try this again. And we have here Miss Erica Turner in the house. Welcome, welcome. We have here Miss Helen Henry in the house. Welcome, welcome. Oh, man, I tell you guys, if I can get the honor and the privilege of interviewing Miss Helen Henry, oh, my goodness. Wow, you want to talk about some energy and some fire and some passion. Come on, somebody. Woo. Mm, 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 mm. It'll happen one day. It'll happen one day. It will definitely happen. So let's see here. So Tashana, let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on here. Let's make sure, because the Facebook gods, let's make sure everything is acting right. When we did the test run too, everything worked perfectly. You came in, with no problem. So let's give it a few moments here, and I'm going to stay very positive. It's going to come on in. So give us about a few seconds, guys. If you want to go ahead and get some water or something like that, by all means, definitely go ahead and do so. Or get some tea or your favorite beverage, because believe me, this is going to be worth it. So we're having just a little slight technical difficulties, but it is all good. Tashana, if you can do me a favor, send me as far as for an invite, so that way I can go ahead and add you on. I don't know why, because for whatever reason, it's not. Are you seeing an invite by any chance, Tashana? I'm just curious as well. Are you seeing that on your end? Hmm. Okay, here she go. All right, so here we go here. All right, let me go ahead and accept here, Miss Shauna. Okay, so it's adding you as of right now. It's adding you as of right now. Want to make sure that everything is on point here. Got my signature. See, there it is. And so, through the power of social media, she is like this. So we can actually do the interview this way. This would be kind of cool, to tell you the truth. But now, yeah, that kind of hurt. Okay, there we go. Perfect. There we go. There we go. Cool. So we solved the problem. Cool, cool, cool.
It take a little bit more than that. The enemy got to come stronger than that.
That's right. That's right. So, ladies,
somebody on here, that just lets me know that somebody on here really needs something that I have to say.
oh, absolutely. And Tashana, if you can speak up just a little bit louder, so that way we can hear you well.
All right. How about now?
Oh, there you go. Absolutely fantastic. Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get this show on the road here. As I mentioned, we have here Powerful on Purpose Summit. The alumni, one of the speakers that will be in Columbia, South Carolina, August the 26th, the one and only Mrs. Tashana Burrell. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, good evening, everybody. I want to shout out, that's my aunt. That's my Aunt Carrie from Muskegon, Michigan. Everywhere I've gone, anything I've done, she has always supported me. And so I honor her tonight. So thank you, Aunt Carrie, for showing up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started here. So, Tashana, I know you because you're part of alumni, and I know as far as that your story is going to be historic. But my listening audience doesn't know too much about you. So can you just briefly just introduce yourself? Just tell them a little bit about who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, good evening, everyone. I am Tashana Burrell. I am a mother of 5 amazing children. I only have one husband. I'm all he can handle, and he all I can handle.
As it should be.
Listen, honey, right? My husband and I, we both are in ministry together. Together, we have founded L&B International Ministry. We have made it our mission to reestablish the power of prayer, one home at a time, globally. But I am passionate about amplifying the voices of God's people, especially in this season, the voices of kingdom mothers. And you are a mother if you have a womb, honey. God has something inside of you that he definitely wants to birth. So I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about just being vulnerable and authentically me wherever I am. And just, I bring God with me. So that's a little bit about me.
Amen. 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 So let's go ahead and jump into this thing, shall we? So I'm a type of individual, right, that always love to know the backstory. What brought an individual to this point? So maybe if you can share with us a little bit more about your backstory, what it inspired you and your husband to have the ministry, because clearly we can hear the enthusiasm and the passion behind that. But what's the backstory? Was Tashana always this passion? Was she always like this? This is what we want to know. We want to be nosy.
Oh, yeah. Because now that we're friends, that's since you want to. So you really want to get in my business. All my so y'all can, hey, Peach, go ahead and drop Peach in the chat. So if we're going to be friends and you want to get in my business, you got to know who Peach is. You got to know who, right? And so, yes, Peaches, I've always been this passionate. I have always been a winner. And when I say a winner, I'm talking about positioning and putting people in position to win. I am a former athlete. I'm a former national champion 2 times, and I've been a point guard. And as a point guard, if anybody is into sports, they understand that when the game is on the line, they set people up to score. They set people up to get the ball in the back. And sometimes they have to go ahead and do what's necessary so that we can win.
That's right.
And I find that many of my life experiences have always put me in position to find a way to help the people connected to me win. And I take pride in that. But it wasn't until 2018 where me and my husband were expecting to have what was prophesied, the biggest win of our life, that this was going to be the best year of our life. How many ever had that? You know, in the New Year's sermon, you know, this the year of your turnaround, and they so we were expecting that, and we were expecting to win big. But as our story would have it, in that year, we actually found out that we were carrying our fourth, it would have been our fourth child, and her name was Addison. But in that year, while I was winning big in my career, I suffered multiple miscarriages that put me in a seat where I needed somebody that would win for me. I know a God that, okay, you've always put me in position to help other people win, to be a helper, to pour into people. But in this season, I needed a win, and I needed a win bad, because I was taking losses in my body. Come on, somebody. I don't know if you've ever been there, but I was taking losses in my body. And I got to the place, and I got to the point to where I felt like I was going to lose everything and lose my mind. And I asked God, you know, they tell you don't question God, but, you know, I didn't get the memo. You know, I ain't been saved all my life. So, so I didn't get that memo. And I asked God, I said, who do you think I am to be able to withstand these kinds of losses? Because I was taking this. And who do you think I am to withstand that? And in that moment, he reminded me of all of the things that he had placed inside of me, and all of the tools that he had given me to fight, and all of the ways that he had geared me in my mind and just how I work. And he said, you have always been a fighter, and you have always been a fighter for the underdog. And so while I was able to trust you with much, I wanted to know if I can trust you with this testimony. And would you speak, and would you write a book on my behalf? And so that kind of set me and my husband up. That's the background for me. I went through loss after loss. I had to learn how to win from a low place. I had to learn how to get up from a low place, and I had to learn how to encourage myself and be obedient when God will give you a mandate in the middle of what seems like some of the messiest things that you can ever go through. But I had to learn that even when it feels like you're taking a loss, when you're with God, you're always a winner. And so I wear that badge of winning. I wear it a little bit different. I don't wear it from a haughty place. I just know I always have victory.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, for all those that's just tuning in, welcome here to Transformation Greatness, along with the Small Business Network podcast. We have here an amazing powerhouse speaker, Tashana Burrell. That's very powerful, because you mentioned as far as that you've been a winner pretty much all your life. To be at that stage where, and I love how the way you said it, you need to be in a space where you need somebody to win on your behalf. Is that about right? So I guess my question is, because I'm very familiar with sports, right? Die-hard sports fan, anybody knows me. And I understand the mentality of a winner, of a champion. But I also know there is a pride and a certain ego if you had a certain point, because of the fact that you always has been looked at the rock, right? You always been looked at as far as someone that can excel. So my question to you is that when that happened, was it easy to humble yourself, or was it like there was resistance because of the fact, you know, I'm a winner, right? I've been winning, you know, for such a long time, and that pride and ego was possibly there? Share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good question, Shawn. And I think for any woman, any couple that has experienced loss, right? Especially that of a child, especially when you are, for me at that time, going through the miscarriage, but at the same time balancing a very successful financial advising career where at that particular time, I was the only Black woman in our region in West Michigan, and I was top 5 out of the top 10 producers in our region. and I was 10% under 5 reps. And as a Black woman in a predominantly white male industry, there's a level of pride there too. So that when I begin to go through and suffer, so there are 2 things that I went through in a pride in that season, and the Lord kind of helped me with.
Okay.
To winning in business and winning in something that I felt like I had built on my own. It was hard for me to let go of the work, the hustle, the grind, the success, and really truly tap into me and what I was going through at the time, because I didn't want to feel like, okay, there's one more thing that they're looking at me different. They already look at me because I'm a Black woman and I cannot afford, Lord, right now to be going through this because there's already a target on my back. So pride for a season wouldn't let me feel the pain of the loss and the miscarriage. And so I always tell people, God gave me a sense of grace because he would allow me to start writing and putting my pain and my emotions to pen work, right? But then there's another side as a woman that is your body, right? My body is testifying against my nature, questioning myself as to why is it that I cannot hold a child? I've lost 3 in 9 months. And so that pride of losing and not being the superwoman, I let that pride cause me to neglect what was going on, caused me to not even acknowledge that, hey, something wrong. And eventually it turned into denial. And honestly, I got mad at God. When I told you I questioned him, I wasn't like, why God? I was like, why God?
Right, for sure. For sure.
So yeah, so pride plays a role, but there has to be a time to where you allow some kind of word and some kind of revelation to pull you out of that pride. And so for me, that moment came. I was on my couch, and my aunt can attest to this. I like to eat, Shawn. That's all I do is eat. Like, you give me some food, we best friends. Okay, for those of you that's right. But I stopped eating. And I was on my couch binge watching Netflix. It's like 2 things I don't do is not eat and then binge watch TV. You just ain't gonna find me doing it. And I was doing that. And at that moment for me, that was the pride, and that was the fall of the pride. And that wasn't a place where I could be vulnerable enough for God to speak a word to me and pull me from that low place. And for me, that word was Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you and I ordained you a prophet to the nations. And there's a scripture that talks about, and then y'all gonna get some word in this. Y'all gonna get some Jesus in it because it's just
Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
But there's a scripture that talks about how he interprets the groans and the tears. And why I couldn't say it, he answered the question as to why it had to be my daughter and why it had to be my baby. And so he answered that through that scripture. And I'm getting emotional right now just thinking about it, because I literally know how the word can take you from a low place and it can answer every question and free you. In that moment, I was freed in as far as the questions as to why it had to be my daughter. He said there was a legacy there. And so from there, my husband and I, we started the Addison Grace Project. And that was the thing that started us on our road to the power of prayer and why it's so important to us today.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely powerful. If you guys have any questions, by all means, please feel free to type in the comments. One of the things that you will know about me is that I love interaction and engagement, right? If you have questions as far as for the guests, if there's anything we said, Tashana just mentioned that truly resonated with you, that was powerful, go ahead and type that in the comments as well. We definitely appreciate that as well. I want you to tell us more about your brand and your mission. You touched on it earlier, and you was also sharing your story, which is absolutely powerful and inspirational. But tell us more about your brand and what you and your husband are doing, and why this is so important as of right now during this day and time to really spread it out and to let more people know of what's possible, right? I think that's the right word.
Yeah. So when we talk about branding, right? I don't mind being known for prayer, right? If you follow our page, you follow us, you're gonna see two things. You're gonna see publishing, and then you're gonna see prayer. You're gonna see me talking about books, and then you're gonna see me talking and probably have a prayer call in between. And so when it comes to the ministry that I'm so grateful to be able to do with my husband and I, that was birthed from that place, right? We had to learn how even church folk, okay, even people in ministry. My husband at the time was associate, well, he was a youth pastor at the time. Even those people that go to church Sunday to Sunday have to learn how to pray and even get a deeper connection for God. And there are ways that he would do that. And so that trial brought us to a place to where we had to learn what real victory was, and that sometimes it's not just shouting on Sunday or you showing up on Wednesday. Sometimes it has to be you and your spouse getting on your knees together and you hearing your spouse pray for you and you praying for him together. And so our brand of establishing prayer happened because pain tried to separate us. And let me tell you something, Shawn, at the time I had 3 kids. That joker wasn't finna leave me with 3. I got 5. Oh, we praying. We figuring this out. We are not about to let grief tear us up. Cause I can't do it, baby. 3 kids by myself, I wouldn't have been strong. Some of these women way stronger than me. So we learned how to allow prayer to be that fuse. Now, personally, my personal brand stemmed from the story that I told you, because the pain positioned me to be a mouthpiece for God. I started to write a book about Addison, and the book is called Addison Grace. When I tell people my story, I always lead with a book saved my life. And I believe that. And I believe that there are many books that saved a lot of people. I believe it's a real good book, right? That will save so many lives. But writing that story positioned me to understand the power of our voice through written word. And after the 3rd miscarriage, when I asked God, why did it have to be me? His response to me was, how many more babies have to die before you get the book out? Yeah. That part.
Question for you before I allow for you to continue. What was your initial response when you received that download?
Tears, a heaviness, and it was like a weight. It felt like a different kind of go. It was urgency. That's what it was. When he said that, it was urgency, because I didn't interpret it as how many of my babies had to die before I got the book out. My revelation was there was somebody waiting on what I had to say. And this was a mandate to get the book out to help bring healing to somebody else. Right. And so that's where my personal brand, where I think that every person, when God is telling you to write a book and you need to write the book and you need to get it out, this is where I don't play. And I tell people, if God called you to it, there are people that need what you have to put on the pages, and they're waiting for you to be obedient. So he told me that, Shawn, November the 3rd. By November 25th, my book was already on Amazon. I didn't have no launch party, no cute flyers, no nothing. I said, listen, I got to be obedient and get it out. And after that, I got about 10 testimonies from families and friends that flooded my inbox of how they had went through the same thing. And then a few months later, we would get just mail on top of mail, emails coming in of people that were carrying their rainbow baby. And so God showed me the power in your pen and the power of you writing when he tells you to write. So that's what established my personal brand. A book saved my life. 120 Publishing, where we work with women who are called to write a book, but they don't know how to get it out. We help them get it out because we know that there's some people that you're called to impact.
Value. value, guys. I told y'all, Greatness Week, man. I was gonna be bringing people that I was gonna bring it, man. And I don't know if you guys thought I was playing or not, but I'm telling you, this is already Tuesday, okay? And we're already turned up over here. So, man, just wow, absolutely powerful. I got so many questions, but I know your time is very limited, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and segue into this. The Powerful on Purpose Summit. What can people expect?
Ooh, value, vulnerability, victory, victory, victory. I feel like people are going to come into that room that have been broken in certain areas, and I feel like they're going to walk away mended. I feel like people, it is in the title, right? Powerful on purpose. I feel like people are going to come into that room equipped and impacted in a powerful way to go and pursue their purpose on purpose. I feel like clarity is going to be in the room.
Yep.
Peace going to be in. I'm trying not to preach Dr. Tabitha's amazing event, but there's so much oil on it, Shawn. You know what I'm saying? All these women, even the women that you went and interviewed before me, like D, super powerhouse. I'm so I every time I hear her speak, it's like I've never heard her speak.
Yep.
These, I'm talking heavy walkers. You, every time you, greatness transformation, people like this that aren't afraid to share their platform. It's collaboration over competition. You got to get in rooms like that, because right now I heard somebody say yesterday that there are vacancies in the spirit, that God is looking for people to step in position, and you got to get into rooms that will light a fire under you so that you can step into position. Child, I'm gonna be there. Marquette gonna be there. Mark gonna be there. You know it's gonna be a good time when Mark is there. So, and then Dr. Tabitha Brown and all of her splendor, it's gonna be a good time. You guys need to follow these people. You need to connect with these people. I do not think it's by happenstance that you are rubbing elbows with these people. God is truly, truly positioning you.
This is what I've been saying all this time. See, I'm glad you mentioned it the way you did, because I can only say so much about the summit and what it really represents. But it's another thing to hear it from another person. And actually, if you've been following since I've been doing Greatness Week, you have heard it from not only from myself, not only from Dee, not only from Marquette, but you're also hearing it from Tashana. This is a summit where true transformation will be done. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I'm telling you guys, you're in for a treat. Again, August 26th, Columbia, South Carolina. Please get your tickets. Please get your tickets. I'm going to be dropping a link in the comments once that we're done. I highly encourage you, if you can make it, definitely show up and bring the whole community, because believe me, it's going to be worth it. Truly worth it. Tashana, how can others get a hold of you? Just in case if they say, you know what, man, this is just great value, so much value, and I just truly resonate with her, but I have no idea how to get in contact with her.
Mm-hmm. So I'm in the chat right now. You can go and find my name in the chat. I'm going to say, hey, y'all. You can click on the link and you can follow me on Facebook at Tashana Burrell on all sites. At TikTok, you can follow me. You're going to get some prayer on TikTok. At I am Tashana Burrell on YouTube. You can follow me there. And again, you can follow me right here on Facebook. Just click. That's my real page. That's me. Click the link and follow me on there. And then if you want to set up a time where we can talk about the book that God has called you to birth, there's a link in my bio. You just click that link and we'll have probably about a 15-minute talk to see if we're meant to work together and how we can birth that book that's going to save a life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One last thing, Tashana. You had a chance to watch the last podcast you stated, correct? Okay, Cool. So you know what I'm about to do now? I'm about to turn this into devil's advocate.
Yeah.
In which I love this because I was one of these individuals when I first started out, right? So this makes perfect sense. Everything what you just said was absolutely powerful. And I'm so happy and thankful that you raised your hand and you said, Lord, use me. Send me, I'll go, which is truly transformational. But me and you both know there are individuals that may be watching this right now or catch this on a replay, and they're saying to themselves, girl, I ain't there, man. I ain't telling my business like that. Ain't nobody business, man. Sure, I wish somebody would, right? And, you know, I ain't there yet, and I got so much stuff going on right now, and that's all I need is for my aunties and my cousins and them to be like, girl, what you doing? And, you know, telling your business. No, I ain't got that kind of time. I ain't got that kind of time. I ain't there yet. I feel you. I commend you, sister. But I ain't there yet. I got a lot of stuff going on right now. And maybe next year, right? Maybe next year. A book, man, ain't nobody want to listen to what I have to say, right? I mean, I'm just a regular person, right? For 5 minutes or even longer, it's totally up to you. If you were in front of that individual and you was looking at them square in the face and they was telling you all of that, I want you for 5 minutes or as long as you want. What would you say to that individual if they were staring right in front of you telling you that? Take it away.
If the individual was standing in front of me telling me
All that.
they ain't got time to write a book.
Yeah, they ain't got time for all that. Everything and what you saying is great, fantastic, but girl, that ain't me. Look, I ain't trying to have people be all up in my business, you know what I'm saying? And look, I just ain't got that kind of time or energy. Girl, I feel you. I commend you. Look, I salute you, but I ain't there yet. And I don't think I got as far as what it takes. And, you know, I don't know all about that. What would you say to him or her? Take it away.
Okay. And we being authentic.
That's right. Take it away. Because I get people like that. So
if we're being completely honest, the person that is called to me for me to help them write a book, they know that there's a mandate on their life to get the book out. Now, if they know that there's a mandate and there's some limiting self-beliefs, and when they're trying to overcome like time constraints and things like that, that we can work around. But it's not my job to try and pull a book out of anybody. The people that I am called to work with is the person that has the mandate. So that person in front of me, like, girl, that's good for you. I ain't got no book in me. I'll be like, yeah, well, you probably don't. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a word for you. So I would still speak life into that person. I would still talk to them about the power of their words and their testimony. I would still tell them that even though you may not have a book in you, you are a living epistle. Your life is a book. And so even if I'm never your publisher, if you're never my client, I still need you to understand that there's something inside of you that God wants to use for the next person. And the words that you speak, you're the first to hear. So if you keep on telling yourself the lie that you don't have time to do, to be, or to become whatever God has called you to be, it's no mistake that you're sitting in front of me. I might be a door. I might not be a door to a book, but there's so much more to me to a book. I might be the door that's necessary to help you get out of that negative thinking. I might be the door that will open up another relationship that you need. So don't discount me or discredit me because you think that all I have is a book. I got pages, I got chapters, but more importantly, I have power. So don't discredit the person that you sit in front of because you think you don't do what it is that they offer. You do. Every person I connect with, whether they're called to write a book, I know that they have a book. I know that they have a story. The Bible says, Revelations 12:11, that they overcame him by the blood and the word of their testimony. I know that you telling me about how you made it through your job will probably help somebody that's getting ready to walk off of theirs. I know that whatever the devil tried to use to kill you couldn't take you out, and you're probably here because you need to tell somebody else about it. So you might not be my ideal client, but if that person was standing in front of me, I would say, don't miss your opportunity to develop the greatness that's inside of you because you slept on me in your presence. and I have the audacity to say that because I know what it cost me to walk in this kind of oil. I've been there where I've discounted my value and said I don't have time to do it. And and that ain't me. And I was so worried about what my cousins and brothers and sisters, so many people are worried about what other people say. You can't get free. And you can't even let God in because you value somebody else's perspective over God's power in your life, in your situation. So I will just be telling that person this stuff, Shawn. And then I'll be thinking to myself, I'm not for to force nobody to be my client. God send me who I need, and I know how to advertise and market to the right people too.
Exactly. So guys, man, you know what? I don't think there's nothing else really to be said on that. I'm just trying to see if anybody has any questions. So far, you're getting nothing but positive responses, and people are like, yeah, they totally resonate with that. So absolutely amazing. I will say this, guys, is that if you are looking for speakers, and Tashana, with her message and her story, if it truly resonates with you, I would highly recommend for you to reach out to her, like as soon as this is over with, and book her as far as for your next speaker. Hey, let's even take it another notch. Go ahead and book her to be your keynote featured speaker. How about that? How that sound? How that sound?
Shawn, you're not going to make me cry on this little blue app. I'm not gonna cry off my lashes because you sitting up here. You see how people do. You see how God is trying to promote you right there. If this brother is powerful, I would appreciate that. And yeah, go ahead and book. I receive it. I thank you for that, Shawn.
Absolutely, because I want to say this: when Transformation Greatness decided to team up with the Small Business Network and create a podcast back in December, this was one of my main goals, to really reach out, and really give individuals an opportunity to share their story and their brand. And in my experience is that I know that the vast majority of people have a story, they have a message, they have something which that they're passionate about. But what it is that more times than not, they don't have a platform where they can truly be authentic and be themselves. A lot of times that has to be scripted. A lot of times they have to be like robots, so to speak, be very robotic. But on here, I allow for individuals to be their true authentic selves. Why? Because when you're dealing with human beings, we only recognize people that are real and that are authentic. And that's where true transformation comes into play. So I thank you so much as far as being a guest. And for you guys in the listening audience, if this truly resonates with you and you're like, man, you know what? I would love to be a guest as far as on this podcast. By all means, please feel free to reach out to myself, Dr. James, which is actually in the listening audience. And hey, if you even love to be a co-host as well, that would be fantastic. If by any chance you say, you know what, because of what Tashana said, she inspired me to even perhaps be on TV or radio and have my own channel. And if that intrigues you, we could have a conversation with that as well. But last but not least, August 26th, Powerful on Purpose Summer at beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. Myself, Tashana, Mark, Marquette, D, Dr. Tabitha, Erica, let's see, who else I'm missing? Helen, Henry. Guys, we got a whole buffet of powerhouse speakers. And I'm telling you, our goal is to tear the house down. And by the time that we're done, it's gonna be a landmark. That's right. I said it. It's gonna be a landmark. If you want more information, by all means, please feel free to reach out to myself, to Shauna, and we'll definitely go ahead and make that happen for you. Any last words? Because I think I took up a lot of your time, but I appreciate it though.
Yeah, no, both of my aunts are on here and I'm trying not to cry, but I want to shout out my Aunt Carrie for being here and being supportive in the chat. I want to be able to shout out my Aunt Ruth. She's in the chat. And so that literally seeing their names and seeing them support me and be on here, it means a lot for them to be able to see what it is that I do outside of telling jokes at the family get-togethers and stuff like that. And so it's truly an honor to be able to be here and to have family. I also want to acknowledge my husband, Avery Burrell Jr., and our amazing children, all 11 of them, Ava, Avery, Ashton, Isaiah, and Asha. So we truly, truly, truly thank God. Oh, my husband is on here too with his, I told you, Shawn. He more
Can he
than I.
come on camera and say hi, or is he busy at the moment?
Oh, he busy with all the kids.
Gotcha.
I don't know if he's on or not, but I don't know, honey, if he's in the room. He probably will be able to, but you could try him if he comes in. But it's just been an honor to be able to be here and share this space. And shout out to, I think, Dr. James, talking about he got to give me a whole TV show.
Indeed. Indeed. So, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure once again, Tashana. We appreciate, as far as for your vulnerability, to be able to come on here and really, share that wisdom and just really showing others that it's possible, right? It doesn't matter as far as on how you started, but what does matter is how the way you're showing up. And when you're a willing vessel and when you're allowing, as far as for God to really use you, amazing and powerful things can happen. And I said before and I'll say it again, this is just the beginning, folks. This is just the beginning. Like, man, it's gonna be a beautiful journey. So until then, this concludes as far as for this episode here from Transformation Greatness, along with the Small Business Network podcast. Tune in as far as for as Greatness Week continues, because we have some more exciting guests coming your way. On behalf of myself and my special guest here, Tashana Burrell, we'd like to end this segment like we've basically been doing all of our others. And if what we stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, may God be the glory, and we take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you're all amazing. We appreciate your time. By His grace and mercy, look forward to the next episode. Peace and love, everyone. Thank you.